The crowd froze. A single gunshot cracked through the air, slicing the silence inside the shooting range. When the target rolled forward, jaws dropped, a perfect bullseye. The woman holding the gun wasn't dressed for the part, yet her very first shot shattered the champion's untouchable record. Before that shocking moment, the range was alive with applause and pride. This wasn't any shooting range, it was the elite shooters club, a place where money and reputation mattered as much as skill. Men and women in tailored gear carried custom weapons worth more than most cars. At the center of it all stood Blake Radcliffe, Olympic gold medalist, national champion, and the face of shooting sports in America. With every trigger squeeze, his bullets landed perfectly in the bullseye, and the audience roared. Blake basked in it. He wasn't just a champion, he was the king of this kingdom, a man who knew his name commanded both fear and admiration. And in his mind, no one, especially no outsider, could challenge him. At least, that's what he thought. The heavy glass doors opened, and in walked Emma Miller. A simple woman, plain blue cardigan, department store jeans, clutching a worn leather purse. She looked like someone who had lost her way, not someone who belonged in a place of designer shooters and million-dollar smiles. The receptionist glanced up, scanned her quickly, and dismissed her with a forced smile. Others hardly noticed her at all. But Blake did. His sharp eyes locked on the newcomer, and his lips curled with amusement. "Well, well," he said loudly, enough for others to hear. "Looks like someone took a wrong turn on the way to Walmart." Laughter erupted. Emma lowered her gaze, walking quietly toward the far end of the range. To everyone, she was invisible, irrelevant, not worth a second look. But what they didn't know was that Emma carried something they couldn't see. A hidden fire. A story that would soon silence every laugh in that room. Blake, ever the showman, wasn't finished. He strolled over, his custom Remington balanced casually in his hand. "Excuse me, ma'am," he said, his tone dripping with false politeness. "Are you sure you're in the right place? This isn't a knitting circle." A chuckle rippled through the crowd. Emma's eyes finally rose to meet his. "Come. Steady. I'm just here to practice," she replied softly. Blake smirked. "Practice? This is where real shooters come. Tell you what, $10,000 says you can't hit the bullseye from 50 yards. Gasps and laughter followed. For them, this was entertainment. For Blake, it was another chance to humiliate an outsider. Emma hesitated. "I don't have that kind of money." "That's fine," Blake shot back. "If you win, I'll pay. If you lose, you leave. Forever. Deal." A pause. A twist of the simple gold ring on her finger. Then Emma nodded. "Deal," she said. To understand Emma's quiet nod, we must go back. 3 years earlier, Emma stood at Arlington National Cemetery, clutching a folded flag to her chest. Her husband, Master Chief Nathan Miller, had just been buried. He wasn't just a soldier, he was a Navy SEAL sniper, known among his brothers as the Ghost. Nathan had taught Emma how to shoot. At first, it was practical. He wanted her safe while he was deployed. But it became something more. In those rare weeks when he was home, they would go to the range together. He taught her stance, breathing, patience. She turned out to be a natural, hitting bullseyes that even his teammates admired. "You've got the 3 things that matter," he told her once. Steady hands, sharp eyes, and calm under pressure. Then came his final mission. A helicopter crash. A folded flag. Years of silence and grief. She locked his guns away, swore she'd never shoot again. But last week, Nathan's teammate sent her a letter with a day pass to this elite club. "Nathan would want you to keep practicing," it read. 3 years is long enough to grieve. And so, here she was. Emma placed her purse down, unwrapped a cloth bundle, and revealed a standard Glock 19. Nothing fancy. No custom designs. Just a simple, serviceable gun. The crowd chuckled. Blake smirked, arms folded, ready for her humiliation. But as Emma lifted the Glock, something changed. Her shoulders straightened. Her breathing slowed. She settled into a stance that only the most trained eyes recognized. The room grew quiet. She exhaled halfway and squeezed the trigger. The crack rang out. The target rolled back. Dead center. A perfect bullseye. The laughter stopped. Blake's smile twitched. "Beginner's luck," he sneered. "Anyone can get lucky once." He turned to the crowd, raising his voice. $50,000 says she can't do it 3 times in a row, at 75 yards. Murmurs filled the room. Some leaned forward, intrigued. Others whispered, "Impossible." Emma looked at him, calm as ever. "If I win," she said softly, "the 50,000 goes to the Veteran Support Foundation." A silence followed. Blake's jaw tightened. He hadn't expected her to care about the money, but his pride wouldn't let him back down. "Fine," he said. "It's not like you'll win anyway." The crowd pressed in. Whispers. Phones out, cameras ready. The tension was electric. Blake thought he was about to crush her. Emma thought of Nathan. And the real duel began. The range fell silent. Every eye locked on Emma. She raised the Glock again, her movements measured, precise. The first shot cracked through the air. Bullseye. Blake shifted uncomfortably, his jaw tightening. The second shot came quicker. Another bullseye. Gasps rippled through the crowd. By the third, she paused, twisting her wedding ring, feeling Nathan's presence. She squeezed the trigger. The final shot hit dead center again. The crowd erupted. Applause, shouts, disbelief. 3 bullseyes. 75 yards. With a basic Glock. Blake's face paled. His record was shattered, and not by another champion, but by a nobody. "Impossible," he hissed. "No one walks in off the street and shoots like that." But everyone had seen it. Everyone had witnessed the impossible. And in that moment, the balance shifted. The champion wasn't the hero anymore. The simple woman was. For a moment, there was only silence. Then applause thundered through the range, shaking the walls. Strangers clapped, cheered, and shouted her name. Emma didn't smile. She didn't gloat. She simply lowered her Glock, placed it gently on the counter, and gathered her things. Blake's entourage looked stunned. His smirk had vanished, replaced with rage and fear. He had underestimated her, and paid the price. As Emma walked toward the exit, Rebecca Johnson, the club manager, stepped forward. "That," she said with quiet admiration, "was the finest shooting I've ever seen." Emma nodded politely, twisting her ring one last time. "Just keeping a promise," she whispered. The crowd would remember this day forever. The champion humiliated, the underdog triumphant. And the lesson was clear. Never underestimate the quiet ones.